Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'm the Diginerdster, and today we'll be reading, or playing, A Hand in the Darkness, a random yaoi visual novel that I found on Steam. I think it came out recently. In fact, I think I had it listed under my wish list. Don't ask me why. You know why. I mean, if you're a returning... I'm bi. Anyway, if you're not into that whole butt stuff thing, then you might want to leave now, because that's kind of what yaoi is to most of the time. Most of the time, it does not focus on the actual romance or emotions of the characters, just that they fuck. Anyway, I think I had this one saved on my wish list because it's not just yaoi, but it's also, like, supposed to be a horror thingy that's covering my face. Horror. Anyway, let's start a game. St. Michael's Boarding School is a magnificent place. An elegant and traditional school that provides boys from a good background a future of success and excellence. If you're poor, go fuck yourself. That's what I had been told. But actually, I was rather terrified. The sight of those tall, old towers made of brick and stone. Those paneled windows too similar to those of a church. It was my first time in such a kind of school, and I definitely wasn't looking forward to it. Especially when it seems like I was the only guy in my age with a mother crying her eyes out while taking leave. Well, I mean, everyone else is here because, success and stuff, Their parents are probably pushing them to be here, whereas your mother may have been able to be forgiving of any decision you made. Oh, so we are goddamn adorable. That probably means we're the bottom. Sure, there were some kids in their first year sobbing and hugging their mother's skirts, but they were 11 years old, not 16 like myself. Is this the right voice for him? I don't know. All the older looking guys gave short hugs to their parents and immediately ran to meet their schoolmates, patting their backs and being genuinely loud, or generally, English. I felt completely out of place. And to make things worse, the other boys were starting to throw funny glances at my mother's and my direction. Man, so embarrassing. I tried to shrink and melt with the wooden walls of the ancient-looking hall. Well, our eyes are too blue to hide, unfortunately. Or alternatively, try to calm my mother down. Please, Mom, I'll be alright, stop crying, said Alex. But I don't know if I am ready to face 3 entire months without seeing you again. We have never been separated for so long from each other. And to my discomfort, her sobs turned louder. My savior appeared in the form of a balding man dressed in gray, not Inna, with the school crest embroidered on his chest pocket. Ah, you must be the new student. Please let me guide you to your bedroom. Your name is Wilson. We're named Wilson. I can't hear Wilson without thinking Wilson Fisk. Or Deadpool. Alex White. Yes, we are very white. Yes, I have it noted down here somewhere. I'm Wilson, the housemaster, so if you need anything like an additional blanket, another lamp, or an application for leaving the school, just look for me. I nodded and grabbed my suitcase. I wished I felt more at ease. After all, the man was being really kind, and I was not the stern type. I was expecting. I don't know why I saw an eye. I'm playing in windowed mode, by the way, because my recording setup will not let me play on full screen. At least not if I want a face cam. But I couldn't help feeling tense, with my mother by my side, and all the racket in the hall, with boys and parents talking loudly and rushing past us. The man headed towards the main corridor, and I started following him. My mother then attempted to follow us, but Wilson turned and stopped her with an apologetic smile. "You stupid cunt! I'm sorry, ma'am, but relatives are not allowed inside the building. But do not fret, I will accompany Mr. White to his bedroom, and will make sure he makes himself at home." Why the hell would parents not be allowed in the building? That doesn't make sense. How else are they going to see the teachers or parents, teacher, student, council, whatever? Something's off. Is this like secretly a cult? He patted my shoulder with a big smile. "And I'm sure this young man will write home very soon, won't you?" I nodded at once, wanting to make my mother feel more at ease. I really didn't want my last sight of her 4 months, to be one of her face contorted in sadness like right then. Okay. She seemed a bit calmer, but then suddenly embraced me tightly. "Please write back to us as soon as possible. Your father couldn't come today, but you know how nervous he was as well." "I will, don't worry." "Well then, come on, Mr. White, follow me. We're gonna cook." I disentangled myself from my mother's arms and grabbed my suitcase again, waving goodbye to her. The year was 1910, and my new life was about to start. 1910! Not exactly a good year to be gay. Wilson led me to my bedroom, which I was to share with 3 other students, and after showing me which one was my bed and my wardrobe, he also told me that the door in front of our bedroom was the study room for my year mates. As soon as he left, I started unpacking my stuff and placing my clothes in hangers inside the wardrobe. Monty? He's the cute one, so what kind of... "Ah, hello there!" I turned to the door and saw a red-headed guy smiling in my direction. Hell, he has freckles, that's cute. And green eyes, that's very typical redhead. I uneasily looked back. Nobody was behind me. So yes, he must have been speaking to me. "You're in the bedroom. It's literally just the 2 of you. There's bunk beds taking up quite a bit of space. Who else would he be talking to? A cat?" Hello, I'm new to St. Michael's. The boy chuckled, amused. "The suitcase and the fact I haven't met you in years..." What? 5... Nah. I even forget what voice I gave him. "The suitcase and the fact that I haven't met you in the 5 years I've been here gave you away easily." Oh, that's not right. "The suitcase and the fact that I haven't met you in 5 years, in the 5 years I've been here, gave you away easily." I don't know why. I suck at reading these things. Why am I doing it? I tried to smile back, feeling clumsy and awkward. It ended being more of a grimace than a true smile. "So, what's your name, new boy?" "Ah, I'm Alex White." The boy extended his right hand in my direction. I hurried to shake it. Never mind. "Oh, okay, you got close." I hope my palm wasn't sweaty. Knees weak, arms are heavy. Was it? Damn, nobody my age shook hands in my village. You come from a village? This school was definitely too formal for me, but at least this guy seemed nice. "My name is Montgomery Johnson. You can call me Monty, in fact. Please do so. My bed is this one, the one beside yours, so I am your neighbor." I think I got his voice back. English. The door opened. 2 other guys appeared at the threshold. Okay, so we're getting right into the thick of it, huh? Alright. So the rumors were right, and we have new faces this term. Oh, wait, what? Damien. Okay. He's a smug bastard. Maybe I shouldn't, So the rumors were right, and we have a new face this term. Or we have new faces this term. Why am I messing up? The young man who had spoken was dark-haired and had a bigger build than me or Monty. In general, looked older and more mature than us. His eyes looked intently at me, with an amused spark, and before I could open my mouth to introduce myself, Monty spoke for me. "This is Alex. We have just met. Alex, this is Damien." He waved to the other boy, half hidden behind Damien. "And that one is Rick. He is the clever of the group, so I hope he will accept... I hope he will accept to study with us this term, too. Will you?" What? I don't even think that was proper English, and I'm the one having trouble reading. The boy shrugged, avoiding our eyes. Ah, so he's the quiet nerd. Huh. I like his eyes, they're red. He was very tall and thin. After feeling so awkward the whole day, I marveled to meet someone who looked still shyer than me. That thought made me smile a bit, and I reached out my hand to shake theirs. To my surprise, Damien took it after hesitating for a short moment, raising an eyebrow as if the situation was oddly entertaining to him. Yeah, I think he's the aggressive gay one. The way he shook my hand looking at me with a crooked grin on his face, made me think he was making fun of me. Perhaps shaking hands was only normal for Monty after all. How would I know? Slightly annoyed, I turned to Rick, who passed by my side towards his wardrobe without a single word or glance in my direction. Such nice roommates. Before I started to fume, Monty laughed, shaking his head. "Please don't be upset. I'm sure you'll be used to their antics very soon. It's almost dinner time. Do you want me to show you the school afterwards? Why'd I add a 2? That would be perfect, actually. But we are having dinner so early?" Monty and Damien chuckled. "Ah, so you didn't know? We take the monastic vow when arriving here. Get ready for tons of church time, getting up before dawn and going to sleep at sunset. It's so we can't fap." "Oh, shut up. It's not so bad. But it's true, we work hard at St. Michael's. Let's go. I will explain the schedules while we go to the dining room." No school would get away with this nowadays. None. I would not allow it. The three of us followed Monty out of our bedroom and across a number of corridors and stairs. I tried to memorize the way, although I started to be afraid of getting lost, often in the labyrinth of wooden corridors and doors. It couldn't be helped. I guess I was stuck with following Monty everywhere, until I made myself familiar with the layout of the building. "The lessons start at 8 o'clock, and breakfast is served at 7:30, and there is a compulsory religious service at 7, so we usually get up at 6:30. No. At 6, if you want to have a bath in the morning, At 6, if you want to have a bath in the morning, since the bathrooms in the evening are rather packed." If you want... Okay, that was not proper grammar. Oh, okay. Also, the best time to get to the study room for ourselves is before the service, so we often get up at 5 or 4:30 during exams. That's not a good voice for him. I can't do smug. I mean, unless I go, yes. I stared at him. He was smiling as if that was the most normal thing to do in the world. You're kidding me. Ah, he isn't. In fact, Rick takes our study group very seriously, so we must follow his rules down to the letter. He is very strict with the schedules, but I swear that if you follow his directions, you will succeed in all your subjects with an A+. Baffled, I glanced towards our silent roommate and followed them inside the dining hall. I was already missing my old school, where you went back to your home every afternoon and didn't need to sweat at all to pass all your subjects. Yeah, well, considering this is 1910, your education was probably very bad. Come on, Alex, hurry up or we won't get our table. Yeah, sorry. I sat beside Monty and our 2 other roommates went to sit in front of us. Almost immediately, a senior student started reading a passage from the Bible, while the rest of us waited in silence. I started to space out, but the reading was short and the plates were served at once. The food was good, at least, though it was a bit early for me, so I wasn't hungry. Where did you used to study, Alex? Oh, until now I've always attended my village's school. It's in Surrey. Never been there. My family lives in the north. You know, I'm rich. You aren't missing anything, I thought. My village is really small and ordinary, so I didn't think it was worth commenting about it to Monty. Do you have any brothers or sisters? Yes, I have 4 elder siblings, 3 brothers and 1 sister. But they are way older than me. They are all married and living in their own homes. How old are we? This is 1910. Oh, really? I'm the same. I'm the youngest of 6. My parents really like to fuck. And I have already 2 nephews and 3 nieces. I smiled wildly at this. What a coincidence. I also have 4 nieces and 1 nephew. That makes 5, same as you. Monty grinned and hooked an arm around my neck, pulling me close in a vice grip. I struggled a little, but without any heat, it was a little embarrassing to be treated so familiarly by a guy I just met, but it was also warm. I think we're going for him. One of my fears about coming to St. Michael's was feeling isolated after all. So I was glad to have someone so friendly in my first day at school. I turned to our roommates in a pandemonium of asking for help to get rid of Monty, just to see Damien laughing out loud. LOL, that hasn't been invented yet, thank God. And Rick staring at me with an oddly serious face. He looked aside when he caught me glancing at him. I cleared my throat and slipped from Monty's grip, suddenly uncomfortable. Damien started talking with Rick about some schoolmates I hadn't met, so I turned to ask Monty in a quiet voice. Is Rick always so shy? Did the style change or something, or is it just me? Oh, so your eyes aren't brilliantly green like they used to be. Monty smiled, surprised by my question. Rick? I wouldn't call him shy. No, why are you asking? I didn't know what to say. So my first impression of Rick was wrong then. Perhaps he was simply upset because of my presence. That option made me feel disappointed. We were bound to share our room for the entire year after all. And it seemed Rick was in charge of the study group, so if he didn't want me there... I shuddered at the thought of endless hours studying on my own, and with the added difficulty of having no one else to partner with for group projects. I hate group projects. Because I almost never have anything to contribute, and I end up being that guy like, yeah, I did stuff. No, I didn't. Sorry. Either that, or I do all the planning and such, which sucks. Are you thinking that he doesn't like you or something like that? I didn't dare to nod. Was I so transparent? Yes. Literally, I can see through your skin. I'm trying to make a joke of how pale he is, but this is 1910, so I doubt there'd be any black dudes here. I mean, of African descent. Or Latinos, or... I'm Latino, I could say that we're a bunch of gringos. Is that the right term? I don't know. Monty laughed and bumped his shoulder against mine. Don't overthink stuff like that. He is simply a serious guy. Be kind to him and I assure you, won't have a problem with you. He won't have a problem with you. Meh, English. I hope so, I thought, slightly relieved. But I caught in the shoulder of my eye how Rick was staring at me again. He wants your booty. I'm looking at the mic when I should be looking at the camera. Force a habit. I pretended I didn't notice this time and pushed Monty's hand off my shoulder. Don't touch me, you pelp. When we finished having dinner, Monty took me around to see the school, as he had previously offered, while Damien and Rick went back to our bedroom. He's so excited. I like him. He's friendly. In the right wing, we have the gym and the church, and in the main wing, on the second floor, is our classroom. It's basically school. The left wing, as you already know, is where the dorms are located, ours on the second floor as well. What would you like to see? I said it right, why did I repeat? I don't know, The classroom would be most important. Oh, I should have guessed, our classroom is locked. But don't worry, you will see it first thing in the morning. He sighed. I looked around in the darkness, feeling uneasy. Yeah, it is kind of really dark. Monty was familiar with these corridors, but I wasn't, so I could only make out unknown shapes. It was a little unnerving not knowing where I was or how to go back to my bedroom. Plus, there was the additional issue of tripping over something in the dark, like Monty. You are not afraid of the dark, right? Of course not. Stop smirking. You can't possibly see me smirking. Not that I need to, so stop already. God, they're so cute. I guess the church would be the second most important thing. It was bigger than I imagined, but also airy and welcoming. I expected a darker and menacing place. I don't know why. Because, the atrocities the Catholic Church has done in the name of God, like burning witches, crusades, and all that. I don't like organized religion. I'm not against religion, just organized. Because then it kind of loses its message over time when it's organized and there's power and, Well, I was glad to be wrong. Monty showed me around, speaking in whispers and that traveled from hall to hall, wall to wall, in a muffled echo. Well, the gym? Whoa, it's pretty big. We didn't have one in my previous school. They just let us out. The entire world is our gym. Monty looked amused. I bet you won't be so enthusiastic once you get acquainted with all those torture instruments that our teachers call gymnastics equipment. They make the dudes do gymnastics? Okay. It's like they want the guys to be gay. I'm joking. Being feminine does not automatically make you gay. It doesn't. There are quite a few feminine dudes who like girls. Guess that's everything. Back to our dorm. Can we go back to our bedroom? I have seen enough for today. Wait, there's another place I want to show you. Follow me upstairs. Let's see the upper floor. We can make out there. What's in it? There used to be an infirmary, but they closed it ages ago. Now if you get sick, you must ask the housemaster for an aspirin and go back to your bedroom, or ask him to get a doctor from town. Okay, what would an aspirin do? But, and this is the interesting part, there are a lot of rumors running about the old infirmary. He grinned in a conspiracy tone, and I couldn't help but raise an eyebrow. I can't see a damn thing. Don't be so whiny. Do you want me to tell you the story about the infirmary or not? I sighed. Do I have a choice? Monty grabbed my hand in the almost absolute darkness and entwined his fingers with my... Oh. I was glad. I wasn't very fond of not being able to see where he was or where he was heading, so at least this way I knew exactly his location. And I'm pretty sure, being from a smaller village, you were kind of less, scrutinized when you touched people. Because, in the cities you keep to yourself, and in countryside places it's more personal, I guess. The nurses in St. Michael's used to be old nuns from a nearby convent, the one in the outskirts of town. But the last one who came was a young nun who had recently taken her vows. Let me guess, she was beautiful. She was a beautiful maid, wasn't she? No, she wasn't wealthy or pretty, it seems. She was rather ordinary in every way. She was the daughter of a merchant who had his small store in town, just that. She was to be married to a young foreign merchant who used to trade for her father, and it seemed she was happy with the prospect. But after all the preparations, the day of the wedding arrived and the groom didn't come. So she waited all day in the church in her white dress surrounded by flowers. At sunset, her family took her back home, and although she must have been heartbroken, she didn't shed a tear. She was so ashamed that she wanted to hide her face from the world forever, so the next day she left her father's home and entered the convent. Oh, poor girl. I followed Monty up some stairs. The wood was dry and old and creaked under our feet. Okay. It was dark as before. I could only say where Monty was because of the direction from which his voice came. I tightened my grip on his hand. Also, you're holding his hand, so you know exactly where he is. Just to be sure not to lose him. But she was so gloomy at the convent that they decided to send her here. Perhaps they thought she would be happier making herself useful, or that she would find someone to change her mind. And she did? Yeah, she did. She committed suicide, I bet. He made a long and uncomfortable pause. Soon a teacher started to court her, and he didn't stop until he turned her into his lover. What he didn't tell her was that he was already Oh, shit. He was already married. When she eventually found out, she broke up with him, enraged. Afterwards, she got really depressed. Don't tell me this is one of those stories where a nun killed herself and now she returns to school as a ghost. Suddenly, there was a hand on my nape, and Monty's breath touched my ears, warm and ticklish, eliciting a shiver running up my spine. Oh no, she had a madness outbreak. It took 3 students' lives before taking her own. I gasped and moved away. His hand slipped from my fingers. I felt a rustling of clothes and a sudden rush of cool air around me. Monty! Monty, where are you? Don't you dare leave me behind! Don't you dare leave without me! I stepped forward and met a wall. Cursing, I turned and tried to keep walking while I was following the wall. A light female laughter sound somewhere in front of me. That wasn't grammar. That was actually scarier than the laugh. Freezing, I turned again in the opposite direction. It's probably Monty. I knew my imagination was playing tricks on me. Where were the stairs? And where was Monty? Monty, this isn't funny. Another sound, a soft bump, came from some meters ahead of me. Cursing, I stopped walking. That must have been Monty. That must have been him. I was sure. Or a teacher. Then why couldn't I dare ask out loud if it was him? A cold sweat was starting to dampen the back of my shirt, and my hands were trembling. I shook my head. No, there wasn't anything supernatural there. I just had to keep on walking until I found the stairs. Another knock, this time louder, and I uttered a muffled cry. I could feel presences. I couldn't see anything, but the air around me moved. I glued my back to a wall and closed my eyes tightly. My knees buckled, and I suddenly found myself kneeling on the ground. Oh, come on, guys, this has gone too far. There was laughter, definitely a male one, and when I opened my eyes, I found Monty, Damien, and Rick in front of me. God damn it. Monty had lit a lamp, and he was looking at me with concern in his eyes. You went along with the prank. But you're too cute to be mad at, god damn it. Damien, the bastard, was laughing out loud until there was tears in the corners of his eyes. So that was his intent. He didn't want to fuck me, he just wanted to fuck with me. Rick's face was unreadable, but under his serious features I could swear was the hint of amusement. Oh, embarrassment? Okay. Was he the female laughter? Is that why? Is he actually a girl? Wishful thinking, perhaps. Monty helped me to my feet and threw a furious glance to Damien. Look, he's trembling! I told you this was a bad idea! Whatever you say, mate. No, that doesn't sound right. Whatever you say, mate. There we go. He shrugged, still grinning. I'm really sorry, Alex. Damien thought it would be fun to do a little prank on you. You know, as you were the new one here. I nodded uneasy. I had never felt so embarrassed in my whole life. I tried to play it off pretending to be mad at them while I followed them back to our bedroom. Instead, I was only mad at myself. Was I so gullible and a bit of darkness and a... Hold up. Burps. Was I so gullible that a bit of darkness and a ghost story turned my knees into jelly? Yeah. I had been certainly too spoiled and too overprotected. I needed to toughen up a lot if I was to survive in a school full of other guys who weren't my family. I must be top! There was no one else to protect me from then on. I had only myself to count on. Still, I thought to myself while I faded into sleep a little later, I was glad to have Monty. Though he had taken part in the prank, he looked truly ashamed afterwards, so perhaps I could count on him as my friend. The other two, well, I didn't want to think about them. With that in my mind, I fell asleep on my first day at St. Michael's. Alright, well, what's next? Yeah, it's just the next day. So I'm going to leave this here. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye!